Sorry. If you don't know about this YouTube pagan people, I had to get quite close to the camera to turn it on, so it entails me being creepy at the start of the video. Enjoy! And if you're not thoroughly creeped out and you're still with me, welcome to this week's, or last week's technically, because I am behind, Pagan Challenge. Do you use crystals in your witchcrafty practice? No, not at all, sorry. No, just, move along. That's a big fat lie. I use crystals all the time. I saw this topic and I was like, hell yeah, baby. I actually do quite frequently on videos for I Can't Witch Without, which is my series of, I like how Joanna Devoe put it, love letters to bits and pieces that you work with in regards to your craft. I quite frequently feature crystals, and I actually have to draw back from doing crystals nearly every week. I'm going to do a crystal this week actually. I'm probably going to record that today after this video, get that done and ready. But I really wanted to talk to you today about relationships with crystals rather than just, here are some crystals I use. Here are some ways in which I use them. And I'm going to do that too, but I really want to talk to you about relationships with crystals because I think that's the most rewarding, interesting part. And I really wanted to do this video after I had already done the video recommending the new Book of Crystal Spells. If you haven't checked that video out, go check it out. It's on my channel from yesterday or day before. It's too warm to think straight. And it's about this, and this gives you some really great ideas about how to use crystals. And if you haven't got this or the first one, they're really neat. They're really, really neat. Well worth having in your book collection. So, shall we start off with a bit of a show and tell, and then we'll move on to relationships with crystals? Because I know you're all like, Joey, we want to see some pretty crystals. We don't care about your nonsense. How do you use crystals, first and foremost? I use crystals for pretty much everything you can imagine. Now, I'm going to actually say that the one thing that I don't tend to do a lot of, with two exceptions, is wear a lot of crystals. I don't like a lot of crystal jewellery. I just don't like it. I don't like crystal chips. I don't know what it is about the crystal chip jewellery. I don't know if it's because to me it looks like they've been butchered or something. Or if it's just personal taste. It might just be personal taste, to be fair with you. And there are a couple of exceptions. The first is, I've already shown this on another video, but I'm going to show it again because I'm so in love with this damn thing, is when a particular design completely blows me away. Now this design blew me away so much that I put up with it being gold, and I don't like gold jewellery very much either. But it's Druzy quartz, and it's a moon phase, as you can see. I'm absolutely obsessed with moon phase jewellery right now. I can't get enough of it. As long as it's well presented, I can't get enough, and this is gorgeous. So that's the first thing. Like a shiny magpie, if something is really, really pretty, I will wear it if it's crystals. The other is if it's deeply meaningful, symbolic, part of something that's ongoing in my life. If it's precious to me, then I'll wear it. And it has to be super precious to me. It has to be really, really precious to me to go around my neck or around my wrist, around my hands, wherever. Because basically that is me taking it into my space, into my heart, into my aura, into my magic, however you want to really ascribe the joining of a crystal jewellery into my aura or magical field, if you like. And wearing jewellery is a good way of doing that. People sometimes pop crystals down their bra. I tend to only carry crystals like that if I'm really quite freaked out by a situation. If I have to go to the doctors for something deeply personal and it really freaks me out, then I will wear a crystal down my bra like that. But generally speaking, I don't. I don't know what it is. I'm just not a big person to constantly draw on crystals that way, I think, because I tend to form working relationships, working bonds with crystals, and some crystals might well be very happy to work with your energy all the time, but I prefer to give them a bit of a, a bit of a relaxed R&R, away from my aura for a bit. So there's that. That's about wearing crystals and things of that nature. What else? Oh, this is a good one. Right, so this, wow. the camera was like, too much energy, woo! Yeah, so this is a big bad boy. Bad boy. I've been singing that all weekend. From it's the new Avril Lavigne and Marilyn Manson song from the Suicide Squad, and I'm super excited about Suicide Squad. Right, so this massive bad boy, as you can see, is a huge Emma fucking crystal. And this I got as a steal. This was £7 in HomeSense, and clearly someone didn't know the value of these, because the next time, every other time I've been in there and seen crystals since, they've all been around the kind of prices that you kind of expect to pay. And for this in the UK, probably at least 30 quid, if not more, usually. So for me to find this bad boy for £7 was an absolute freaking steal. He's heavy. This crystal in particular is a imbuing crystal, if you like, because amethyst is a stone of magic. This is, I mean, look, it's the size of my head. And so I charge things on it. It's a charging bed. As far, oh, look at the shimmy. Oh, you are a heavy mofo, though. I'm going to put you down. And I use it to charge things on. So I charge magical items on there. I might charge my own jewelry on there. Again, my jewelry, even magical jewelry, doesn't tend to be crystals, so it works quite nicely. You can tend to use amethyst with most other crystals. Sometimes crystals don't seem to get along in terms of their energies, but amethyst is fairly universal. And yeah, and he just he's the perfect shape and size, and he just adds a little bit of magical battery oomph to magical workings, magical beads, magical necklaces, and you know, keeps a harmony. Keeps a harmony. So the next thing, what should we do next? We could do scrying. So if you don't know about scrying, scrying is the art of seeking to look into the future or the past, or past lives, things of that nature. It's basically seeking questions and answers and feelings and images into the ether, into the astral, into the unknown, through the veil sort of style work. And this is why we use tarot cards, or this is why we use pendulums. Oh, that's a good point. I tend to only use crystal pendulums. I didn't think to... there we go, there's one right here. This is a moonstone. This was a moonstone pendulum from my dear sister Sharon. And I only tend to use crystal pendulums. I don't like metal ones. Particularly. The very first pendulum I ever used was metal, and I didn't get on with it. I don't tend to use the wooden ones, oddly enough, which is odd given that OM are my favourite divinational method otherwise. But I tend to use just crystals for the pendulums. I think they lend themselves nicely, and you can do all sorts with pendulums, but the primary use is divination. And if you don't know, you hold and charge your crystal pendulum above your hand, and you say, show me yes, show me no, and the different swings indicate yes or no, and then you ask it questions depending on what divination you're doing, you know. Will Joey mess up at the end of this video? Probably, yes. So the way that I've always seen it is that straight line has been no, and then circle has been yes. That's what's always happened for me throughout time, throughout Joey time. Joey time! Buy your shares today! Yeah, that's how it's always been for me. I mean, it's going to be different depending on the individual, but so you can scry with pendulums. It's a good job they're right there. I keep them by the bed for whatever reason. And then there are different methods of scrying and divination as well. You can use crystals before other forms of divination, like you can charge your tarot cards with it. You can use it to like meditate and get yourself in the zone ready for divination, opening your chakras up. Oh, I've got a chakra disc set. I should have got them out as well. And you like place your discs on each chakra. I knew I'd forgotten something, but it's over there and I'm not scrabbling about because the camera's in the way. And that can be used to cleanse out your chakras as well as activating particular chakras. So you might want to activate your third eye before divination to best receive yet messages from the universe. Now, there are different ways of scrying. The two crystals that I've been using the most in terms of scrying and divination of late are astrophyllite, which is this beautiful piece, and it's been giving me really, really clear methods. Now, I hope you can see the beautiful blue shim. I'm pretty sure you can see that. And it actually belongs on the Morrigan altar as a result. It reminds me of crow feathers, the way the blue sheen works through crow feathers. And given the prophetic nature of the goddess Morrigan, who talks in prophecy and gives prophetic messages, and the nature of crows being that they are said to see time differently, they're said to see present, future and past as one, then I felt very strongly that this is actually a crystal of the Morrigan and belonged on her altar, and that's where it stays usually, although I do use it when, and I tend to hold it when I am engaging in meditations or seeking to best understand visions of things that could be or were or past lives. And the other, of course, is l'obsidian, and I go French because this obsidian is French. Did you not know? It's a sexy bitch. Every single time I hold this, I go French, so I'm gonna guess he enjoys that. I'm not judging. You're judging me. Yeah, I know. They all do. It's like a black, look at it, it's like a black eye into the future. Wah, 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 I freaking adore obsidian. Some people are really against obsidian. People find the energy too strong, too in your face. It's a Morrigan energy. It's very, very punchy. It's very, very powerful. It takes no prisoners. It pulls no punches. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a scrying, fiery ball of gorgeousness, and I love it. I love it. And just holding, and you can use like you would a crystal ball, like peering and gazing and moving it around. And I tend to use a lot of movement when I do scrying and divination, which is something that you probably wouldn't consider doing. So why do I use a lot of movement rather than, you know, the idea of, you know, because this is a recipe for cramp, and cramp is not good for me. So I tend to move like this. I tend to like twist and turn and get the energy going and get the energy up, and I might hold and then look and then keep moving. And it's a form of meditation and worship that kind of keys into what I talked about in terms of moving meditation, in terms of like dance and walking and zoning out like that. So the movement and the actions is actually kind of like pumping my energy up, elevating my energy, getting me ready for messages from the divine. Another way that I would use crystals is to hold on to them. I said that I don't wear them, I don't tend to carry them, but when I sleep and I'm having trouble and, you know, maybe there's a psychic attack going on, maybe I'm just having a bad time because it's a bad time of year, maybe they're, you know, whatever, I will hold onto crystals and things. And I don't know how unique this is because I've never really tested it with other people and I've never tended to really ask, but I can hold on to something. I can put it in my hand, palm of my hand, hold on to something, and I'll hold it all night and I won't drop it. And I'll wake up and it'll still be in my hand like that. It's very, very rare for me to drop something when I've put it into my hand like that for it to serve a purpose. This is the fire agate, which I've shown before, which I just dropped because I said that. Universe is not without a sense of humour. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a really, really beautiful, protective, very bloody, very primal, very Fires of Creation style protective crystal. It was recommended to me by a friend when I was going through some difficulties, and she said, you seriously want fire agate, you want a nice fire agate, you want an agate fire agate you connect with, it will protect you, you can't go wrong with it. And you can't, she's right, it's gorgeous. So I will hold on to a crystal like that and protect me throughout sleep. Maybe chant over it, maybe request its help. We'll talk a bit more about that in a minute, because we are going to talk about relationships with crystals, and I'm going to save the last 3 for that. You'll have seen them before if you've been with me on the channel for any length of time. And the other thing is, I really enjoy gridding. Ooh, that needs a new bag. I tend to keep my crystals in bags, and this one has just had enough. So this is another one of my favourite crystals, which is a garnet, which I've been talking about a lot recently. It's so primal. This is a raw piece. It is obviously polished. I've got there's a non-polished. The energy's coming off it are clearly affecting the camera. And I love garnet for just about everything. Blood drops of the Morrigan. Mwah. But what I wanted to talk about is that I really enjoy crystal gridding. Crystal gridding, if you don't know, is when you utilize crystals in certain patterns in a grid, and you connect them with a connective wand. I could use this for that if I wanted, because it's pointed. And you line them up, and it tends to be line them up, knock them down, rawhide, rawhide. Right, stop it. Okay, that's the second time this week I've wanted to sing that song. So you get your crystal, and then there'd be another crystal, and then there'd be another crystal, and you energetically connect them in a grid. And the idea is that the grid and the crystals work together in harmony, and you can basically line up all the correlations. You line up numerology, so you might choose specific numbers depending on what your goal was. You might include tarot cards and things. You might include images if you wanted. Some people conclude candles, and some people include flowers, and some people include leaves. I share crystal grids quite regularly on the Starry Eyed Facebook page, so there's some really good ones there. And I need to start doing my own a bit more again, because what with being busy I haven't been doing my crystal grids so much. But they're really great for like this correspondence of numerology and imagery and colour, and then you align all the crystals to a particular purpose. So let's say we're doing love and lust. You'd want some garnet, maybe you'd want some fire agate, maybe some rose quartz, maybe some rhodonite, maybe some Vesuvinite. I love Vesuvinite for love magic. You don't see it mentioned that often, but especially the gold one. Mwah. Spirit quartz maybe for a higher elevation. Moonstone maybe for that same thing. It's a nice feminine energy to moonstone. It's good for love magics. Ruby for a deep sexy, you know, that sort of thing. And you align all the different crystals together, and you create a grid. You use the numerology, use the imagery, use the actual meanings of the crystals, you connect them all, and they basically create an energy. I want to say energy vortex, but maybe that's not the right word. Because they pull that energy to you, or they push that energy out into the world, depending on how you set your grid up, in order to create magic. Talking of creating magic, you can also use crystals in your spell work of all kinds. You can imbue certain things with crystals. I talk about imbuing a lot. And actually on the WoW Crafting post, which is already on the Facebook page, we talk about why we imbue things with crystals. And it's basically just to align the energies. It's just so they harmonize. It's just so they all sing together instead of singing a cappella at each other, you know. You find the harmony, the song of the universe, and you link them all together, and they come together in a crescendo of energetic singing. They don't know what this is. Right, anyway, strange accents aside, we've had way too many strange accents for one video. We're going to overload. We're going to talk about relationships to crystals, and the final big 3 are 3 that I have had serious relationships with. That sounds so strange. Basically it is my feeling, belief and learning, taught knowledge if you like, that crystals very, very much have an energy all of their own, a resonance, a soul. And certain crystals will really talk to you, and it's a very, very bizarre experience. You get feelings, you get images, you get names. If you get names, you're onto something, because for a crystal to give you their name, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And there's only so many crystals that have given me their name on sight. 3, in fact, which are the 3 down here, or how they wish to be referred to. And those are the ones that kind of demand your attention, and you'll get images. It's much like meditating. You know, when you meditate and you get visual stimuli in your mind's eye, and you see images and you hear things, and you get feelings and images and senses, and you see all of those in meditation and visualization. A bit like dreaming, but while you're awake. That's how I put it when people get confused. That's what it's like when you connect to a crystal, and you get a very, very strong sense of what this crystal's about, and their personality even, and how they feel. And I refuse to be told that certain crystals are male or female, because quite frequently crystals might present themselves as being more masculine or more feminine to you, and that's kind of up to them to present themselves in such a manner. It tends to be rawer crystals or unusual crystals that have a bit more of a personality. I think tumble crystals can, but they tend not to. They tend to have that energetic feeling, that vibration still, but perhaps not as much as some of the unique ones, perhaps because they still have more of themselves maybe in the process. So the first one is Big Mama. Now, she's the oldest out of the 3 that I'm going to show you. Big Mama is a cluster, a quartz cluster I've had for several years. And she's a combination of quartz, strawberry quartz, and milky quartz. And Big Mama is how she wants to be referred to. Big Mama is a healing crystal, which is something I haven't talked about on purpose, because we want to talk here about building a relationship with crystals for healing. So Big Mama is a well of feminine strength. She's got a swan-like energy to her. She does present herself as swan-like in many of the times where she presents herself, and beauty and grace, but a deep love and a deep healing. She's very gentle, very feminine. She gets all the healing done. She'll pull negativity out, especially when my heart is bleeding out. If I'm having a rough time, Big Mama will always heal it. She'll drag out any energy hooks that are in there. She drags out any negativity out there, pulls all that shit out, and then gets the process of healing on an energetic level going. And she's amazing for it. And healing and love and protectiveness, but in a very motherly way, are definite realms of the Big Mama cluster. And I've had Big Mama quite a number of years now. I can't remember how many. And she was just happy and willing to work. And I work with her a lot, and I think regularly working with certain crystals is necessary to maintain relationships. So the next one is Lion, which is how he wishes to be referred to, and he's a male, which is a Labradorite. I've had images of Lion up before, and you know, he's slightly different on the back there, and some people say, you know, you can see a fox in the center of this thing, and I'm like, you might be able to see what you can see, but he wants to be called Lion, and Lion he is. Lion is a golden labradorite. Labradorite is one of my spirit stones, and by spirit stone, if you don't know, God, there's so much stuff to talk about with crystals. Is a spirit stone is a crystal which connects you to the divine, and it's basically the crystal you feel most drawn to, the crystal that you love, the crystal when you see it your whole spirit goes, oh yes, that sounds super pervy. Do not take that like that, right? Eek. Right, so it talks to you. You can't really leave the shop when there's a really nice piece of it in that you're like, oh no, that's coming home with me. I don't care if I own 26 million of them already. You know, Labradorite is like that. Labradorite is quite unique actually though, from piece to piece, which is good. But there you go. But Lion is, because you take your usual properties, which you can find in most... Okay, alright, we're going to have more spook activity. Sorry. Because Labradorite has some very interesting properties that are given, which you can get in books if you don't already know them. You might get a little bit stuck in what crystals are supposed to do versus what crystals decide they want to do when they're part of a working relationship, when you get to know the energy, the deva, if you like, of particular crystals. So in general, Labradorite is thought of as being the temple of the stars. It's quite ethereal. You can't work negative magic with Labradorite. It's purely, you're not supposed to be able to work with it because it basically goes towards protectiveness and healing and strengthening the aura and flashes of insight, obviously because of the nature of the flash, and the intuition and psychic ability. Now with Lion, he's very, very, very protective. He's very, very courageous. He's quite ferocious for a Labradorite, because Labradorite tends to be like, you're protected, you're fine, you're good, you're grounded, but you're also ethereal, and that tends to be how Labradorite generally is. Lion, no, he's like, come on then. If you think you can interfere, you can't. I'll protect you. I'll fight with you. I'm by your side. I'm a warrior. I'm Gur, baby. And that's Lion. And last of the three is Mab. Mab is a Numite. I did a whole video about Mab. I've done more than one actually. There's a video on my channel called Crystal Baby Numite, I think. And then there was an I Can't Witch Without about Numite, which I talk about her as well. So she's actually had 2 videos already because she's insane. Right, now I don't know if you can see, I think you can because the light's not bad. The little gold flecks throughout Numite. Numite is, it's very similar to Labradorite almost in the way that it flashes and gleams, and I'm apparently a big fan of Shimmy Shimmy. Really, Joe? Really? But basically anything that has like a hidden glint or a hidden shimmer, and then you turn it and it goes, oh, I'm a big magpie apparently, for things that, reveal their secrets. That's awesome. And Numite, of course, is one. So Mab is a shaman stone, and Numite is very much about unlocking the mysteries of the universe. Can be used in shape-shifting as well. Mab particularly is keen on the energies of shape-shifting. Again, she sits on the Morrigan altar as a result. So she actually projected an image of herself to be called Mab because of the Miranda Richardson character from the Merlin movie, which if you haven't seen, it was a BBC Merlin movie, and it's one of the best Merlin movies there is. I don't care. It's so good. Bit cheesy, but still so good. And she was like, I want to be called Mab. And I had that image brought to my mind, and I was like, okay, all right, that makes sense. And Mab is like a queen of the Fae, a queen of the witches, a queen of the old magics. Mab is obviously from Shakespeare, is a Fae queen, and she wants to be called Mab, and she has that regal, sovereign, commanding presence, that shapeshifter, that tricksy face, Fae energy, illusion, things, how things are not. And because she's double pointed, you can use her as, oh goodness, okay. You can use her energy for all, drawing in and drawing out. So she has I'm gonna just be keeping dropping things today. I'm sorry, Mabby. Okay. A quarter. So she has an as above, so below, as within, so without style energy as well. Mab I tend to use for personal meditations, personal work, holding when I'm searching for answers and connecting to the shapeshifter energies, working within the altar space. Now there's something else this video is going to be 1,000,000 years long, so there's something else I haven't mentioned at all, having them as part of your altar. You can put grids, as part of your altar and draw energies into your altar, but you can also use them as ornamental statues or to bring certain energies to your altars. And I do this a lot, and there's a lot of altar videos which kind of just describe why certain things are the way they are already in and on my altars. They're all on the channel. You go on the channel, go on Joey Morris altar, then you'll find a load of them, and they'll explain that a little bit more in depth than I think we've really got time for, because I've talked so much already. I think that's probably about it. That's probably about time to go before we waffle. So any questions, pop them down below. You know what, before we do go, I am going to cover one last thing, which I suppose is the question of how do you form relationships with crystals. As far as I've ever seen, it's been a trial and error style thing. Sometimes when you go into places looking for crystals, you get a sense, a feeling of a crystal, like, oh, take me home with you, pick me up, hold me, work with me, and you can't fully understand where this feeling is coming from until you realize it's the crystal and it's doing something to you. It's like shifting your energy. It's like talking to you, speaking to you. And so if you get a very, very strong feeling like that from a certain crystal, and you can afford it, and it's, you know, reasonable and that sort of thing, because you can form bonds with any crystals. They don't have to be rare or expensive or anything, and none of my crystal collections is massive expensive at all. Most of mine have been very reasonable over the years. I mean, I only owned the big amethyst because it was such a steal of a price. And you get that feeling of, oh, you need to work with me, and then you take it home and you hold it and you carry it and journal with it, see what images come to mind, see what happens when you hold on to it in meditation, write down any feelings, thoughts, images, any of it, just see what comes to mind and connect that way, and just listen to your intuition. Okay, so I think that is where we shall actually end the video. Just get up close in your face again. Many blessings.